Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for January 25th, 2021. We started with doing some warm-up problems. You were supposed to find the x and y intercepts of y is equal to 2x squared minus x minus 15. This is similar to homework and I will go over it in a minute, but please pause your video and try to do it yourself. And by the way, this is a pad deck exercise and I will be grading at the end of this class your pad deck work for today. Okay, I'm going to assume that you had a chance to do this. So how do we solve this? Y is equal to 2x minus x minus 15. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is find the x-intercept. And we're going to use the fact the x-intercept always has the y value of 0. X-intercept is always going to be some number, comma 0. So that means I am going to substitute 0 to be y, so it becomes 2x squared minus x minus 15 is equal to 0. Now, from here, I can factor this. That's what I'm going for. Okay, how do I do this? Well, the coefficient of x squared, there's a number in front of x squared. It's not just 1. So what I need to do is I need to do my diamond. So I multiply 2 times negative 15, so I get negative 30 here. The middle number is, the bottom number is the coefficient of the x term, which is negative 1. So I'm looking for two numbers, a factor of negative 30 that would add to negative 1. Okay, so that would be 6 and 5 because the difference between 6 and 5 is 1. And I'm looking for the sum to be negative. That means I need the bigger number to be negative. So I have negative 6 and negative 5. So then I split the 2x squared minus x as negative 6x plus 5x minus 15 is equal to 0. I am using grouping method. Then I put my parentheses and then I factor the first factor, 2x squared minus 6x. Looking at the numbers, I can factor out 2, and looking at the variable, I can factor out x. I am left with x minus 6 in the parentheses plus 5x minus 15x. I can factor out 5. That leaves me with x minus 3. Okay? Oh, look at that. That does not match up. This should be a first clue to you. Oh, I must have made a mistake. What did I do wrong? Go back to the first part. 2x multiplied by, oh, what did I do wrong here? This should be 3, shouldn't it? Okay? So that should be a first clue to you that I might have made a mistake. The term in the parentheses must always be the same. So then I can factor out x minus 3. What was x minus 3 being multiplied to in the first half? That was 2x. In the second half, it was being multiplied to plus 5. Okay, so now I have just factored out. That becomes x minus 3 and 2x plus 5. So that's my factored form. That means I know that either x minus 3 is equal to 0 or 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. That's the zero product property, and we're going to go into that a little bit more just to review. So how do I solve from here? I am going to add 3 to both sides, and I get x is equal to 3. On the other side, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides first, and I get 2x is equal to negative 5, so divide both sides by 2. So x is negative 5 over 2, which is negative 2.5. Okay, so that means my two x-intercept are 3, 0 and also negative 2.5, 0. What about the y-intercept? We're going to use the fact that for y-intercept, x value is always 0. Okay, the x value is always going to be 0 with some number here. Okay, so what is that number? we can set x to be 0 into this equation. The first two term becomes 0. You're just left with y is equal to negative 15. So it's going to be negative 15. So I've just figured out x-intercept to be 3, 0, negative 2.5, 0. Y-intercept is 0, negative 15. We can confirm our answer with this graph as well. Some announcements. You're going to have quiz number 2 next class, and it is going to be on quadratic relationships, so evaluating a quadratic equation, identifying vertex, maximum, minimum, line of symmetry, intercepts from graph and table. So evaluating quadratic equation means the t-table, right? Identify x-intercept from the factored form and calculate vertex. So that's going to be a little bit of today's work as well, calculating the vertex, but that should not be too complicated. So it's mostly homework number 4, homework number 5, and homework number 6, with a little bit of homework number 7. That's today's homework. What are we doing today? We're going to be looking at, given a quadratic equation, either in standard form or factored form, that you can sketch its graph. That's our final goal. And to do that, you're going to need your x-intercept, vertex, y-intercept, and to decide whether it's going to be opening up or down. Let's quickly review some factoring. Okay, so as part of your PADEC, you are going to be working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different factoring problems. So please pause the video and go through them now. I am going to go through them as it right now. Okay, so now first question. Factor negative 5x squared plus 20x. Okay, we only have 2 terms. That means that's pretty easy. That's relatively easy. The first thing you should always be looking for is, so looking at just the numbers, negative 5 and 20, is there a number that I can take out? Yeah, 5, I can take out 5. Okay, what about x squared and x? I can take out an x. Okay, then I've taken out 5x. 5x times what is negative 5x squared? That's going to be negative x. Okay, and then 5x times what is 20x? That's going to be plus 4. And we're done. So the answer is 5x times negative x plus 4. Alternatively, you could have also said you could take out negative 5x and you could have negative 5x multiplied by x minus 4. That would also work too. What about the next one? This is when a is equal to 1. This is the easy one, right? So what do? You start off by putting my 2 parentheses, and I am looking for, and I fill in my x's first because that's the only way I can get there. Or I am looking for 2 numbers that multiply to positive 16 but that add to 10. What are the 2 numbers? What are the factors of 16 that would multiply to 16 but add to 10? That would be 8 and 2. Okay, the more you do this, the faster you're going to get, because you're going to start to see the pattern. But you know what? You guys just need to keep doing it more and more and more. Alright, so then you see that it's going to be 8 and 2 right there. I am not done. I should really be checking to see if my answer is correct by doing the FOIL. First is x squared. Okay, outside, that's 2. X times 2 is going to be plus 2x. The inside is 8x. And then last with the last, that's going to be plus 16x, 16. And that simplifies to x squared plus 10x plus 16, which is what I started off with. So I know that my factoring is correct. So then I am going to put my factors down like so. Okay, so this is more difficult one because we have coefficient being not 1. Okay, but the first thing I should be doing is I should be looking to see, can I factor anything out? Okay, I should be saying that yes, 6, 6, 12, I should be able to factor out 6. That becomes x squared plus x minus 2. Easy. That means I can, because this is the easy type, I can look for two numbers that multiply to -2 but that add to +1. Okay, so to -2, I want that add to +1. So that's going to be 2 and 1. The only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. I want the sum to be positive, final sum to be positive. Then that means I need the bigger number to be positive, smaller number negative. So it's going to be x plus 2, x minus 1. So that becomes 6x plus 2, x minus 1. Of course, you should be using the FOIL to check your answer. What about this? 4x squared minus 25. We only have two terms. Okay, if it's just two terms, I should be looking to see if there are any special pattern. Well, I do see the first term is a perfect square and the last term is also perfect square. And we do have the in between, the subtraction in between. That means this is difference of square. Okay, so then that means I can put, okay, whoops, I myself clicked by mistake. Okay, so what do I put first? Okay, so I need to take a square root of the first term. Square root of 4x squared is going to be square root of 4 is 2. Square root of x squared is x. So that's going to be 2x. So that's the first term, 2x here and 2x there. The last term is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. That means I put 5 here and 5 there. So one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So the final factor is 2x plus 5 multiplied by 2x minus 5. Of course, you should be doing the FOIL to check your answers as well. Okay, finally the last one. Okay, so if you did not see that this is a perfect square trinomial, then you would have just gone through the regular x where you are looking for the two factors to multiply to 9 and that add to -6, and that will be x minus 3, x minus 3. And of course, if you saw this as perfect square trinomial, then you could have just seen that as x minus 3 all squared, because you could tell that the first term is a square, the last term is a square with a plus, they're both plus. And if I take a square root of 9, that's 3. 3 times 1 times 2 is 6, and that's the number I have. So it's a perfect square trinomial. So why did we just review factoring? Because that's going to come in play. Okay, remember when we were doing the factoring in the last unit, and we were talking about quadratic expression, we said that there is a standard form of quadratic expression versus factored form. Standard form comes in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. The factored form is when you have something x plus some number multiplied by something x plus some number. Okay, and those p, q, r, s, they can be any number, but p and q cannot be 0. Okay, so these are all examples of standard form. These are all examples of factored form. In fact, they are the factor of this expression. Okay, so to go from here to there, to go from the standard form to factored form, you would factor. Okay, what about to go from factored form to standard form? You would do FOIL, or you would do distributive property to multiply it back and get back here. So they are, you can go back and forth interchangeably. Okay, so they do represent the same expression. -5x squared plus 20x is exactly same as -5x multiplied by x minus 4. They are the same thing, they just look different. Okay, so then what about the factored form versus standard form of quadratic equation? So if you just stick y is equal to and y is equal to, that just becomes a standard form quadratic equation in standard form, quadratic equation in